Hi guys, my name is Cynthia and today, we're going to be dealing with this garden. This garden is in the back of my house and the boxwoods need trimming. It just rained, as you can tell by my raincoat. Boxwoods are kind of flopping, but I have to clean this whole area up. They have to be trimmed. There's like leaves and weeds and stuff here. I am changing this little section. Let me show you. I am changing this little corner section of the garden. I'm going to remove the lavender. We're going to put them in the veggie garden. I love lavender. I think it has a time and a place, and it actually is nice here, and I enjoy it here. So I know you're probably thinking, then why are you changing it? I'm changing it because so rocks are kind of difficult, right? So I don't ever suggest a rock garden, though I like it because it's all over my house. I had this garden here because we had rows of Sharons that just kept popping up no matter how many times we dug it up. We had a ton of lily of the valley. When I tell you, it was just like overgrown everything. Just, I mean, you saw the blackberry patch. Think of that 5 to 6 times. So that is what the property was like. So when I started a garden, I initially started it with what's that called? Mulch, because it's my preferred method of gardening. And it was like every year I had to renew the mulch because I had to keep digging and digging and digging. And it was like literally impossible. There were so many, which I really like crocus, don't get me wrong, but there was so many crocus everywhere. And because the foliage looks like grass, it is not like after the flower's gone, it's not something that I like in my landscaping. You know what I mean? Like I love crocus throughout grass, but not like in the landscaping. But anyway, so we decided to put this landscaping fabric down and rocks, and I really like the look of it. And lavender is actually the perfect thing you can put in something like this. There's a lot of upkeep, right? You have to fertilize. I use a lot of liquid fertilizer. I cut the paper back so that the base of all of the plants have room to grow. It's just a lot of stuff. Things settle in it. You have to constantly use the blower. It's a lot of maintenance. But that being said, I have these gorgeous allium, and oh my gosh, I'll put up a picture of what it looked like. It is there's serendipity allium, my favorite allium. They're by proven winners and they stand straight up. They are stunners. They do reseed a lot. um, I will show you all the seedlings that have kind of popped up, and I kind of want to stop that, right? So I can always cut back the flowers, and that's what I'm probably going to have to do wherever I plant these because I love them and I'm going to continue to use them. I'm put more like on that side of the house. But long story short, because they continue to expand and because they reseed, it's not an ideal plant for rock gardens. You can put hydrangeas because they have that stem. You can put boxwoods again because of the depending on what you use. Honestly, I have a bunch of hostas. Not an ideal plant for a rock situation, but I make it work because I love hostas and I think they're beautiful. So eventually, like in my hosta garden, I'm not gonna have any fabric. I'm literally gonna have rocks on top of the ground, and I'm okay with that. So I found these on sale last year at the end of the season at Home Depot. Look at how big they are. Do you see how big they are? I mean, they're enormous. These are um winter gem. They were $50 initially. Guys, when I tell you I got them for $15, I bought 4 of them. I took them all. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna plant 3. I'm planting 3 in the place of the uh lavender because I really like the idea of it being a evergreen garden back here, except for my beautiful hydrangea, which you see here. This is a firelight standard. And I want to keep these in a ball formation. In a ball formation, they're heavy. I have to remove, I have like a lot of big rocks that we took out of the rock garden that I changed into my rose garden. But I think I think that's going to look pretty. Imagine them in the ground, sunken in, obviously, and perfectly shaped. I think that's going to look really pretty. You can see that I have that planter right there behind my um, other boxwood. What is that one called? A green, not a green tower. That is a mountain, a green mountain hydrant. Oh my God, Green Mountain boxwood. So I had that there and it was perfect. But now that that boxwood is starting to get like to its like really nice mature size, I find that the planter is hindering its growth and I don't want to have like a weird looking boxwood, right? So I'm going to move that and I think I'm going to put the planter like perched here behind the boxwoods. I think that'll look really pretty. I'm going to put a, what's that called? What are they called? What is it? Oh, it's a dahlia. I started lots of dahlias this year. I have about one, two, three, four, five, about six of them. And I'm going to put one here. And then the two, I started a few from seed and only two took. The two that I started from seed, I'm going to put in the side of the house. I have these two urns there and I think it'll look really pretty. Then I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other ones, but they're gonna go places. I think they're gonna go in the veggie garden. But so I'm gonna remove the arch. Okay. I really wanted, I bought an Eden climber and thought that is where it's gonna go. And I thought, how beautiful to have her with roses over her. Like one day I think I am going to do that in another home somewhere, you know, like have a statue in like surrounded by roses. I think that'll be super stunning, but not in this garden. Let me tell you why. So the sun rises from the back of the house and goes this way. Therefore, I'm not concerned about the amount of sun that the rose is going to get. It'll get at least 5 to 6 hours. You know, this space gets a decent amount of sun. My concern is that in order for it to get the best sun and or be practical would be if I planted her, the rose, here. I'm a rose. I'm a climber. The problem with climbing roses, depending on the type that you get, and I bought an Eden climber. I'm looking at two squirrels running around. They're so funny. So what's going to happen is that it's going to get large, and I want this gorgeous hydrangea and my boxwood not to be shrouded by a rose. I thought about it long and hard, and I was kind of upset because that is what I had in my brain and my vision and why I bought the Eden climber to begin with, right? So, and then I also thought to myself, even if I can trim it to kind of not interfere with these two guys, it's going to start to cast shade inside of this uh, garden that I have in here. And I don't want that. You see I grow alliums. I'm going to put zinnias in here, my verbena in here. I want to be able to grow something that gets nice and tall and it get enough sun. And if I do that, it's not going to work. On the other side of the statue, I can't put it there because I thought about that too. But let me show you what's on the other side of the statue. That is my hose reel. I can't have anything interfering with the hose. I just don't want to have that issue. Although I think it might look pretty. Another thing is I would have to plant it like here and not where this arch is currently settled because this is the place that has the space. The arch is not wide enough. I thought about buying a different arch. I found an arch that is wide enough. It was like $500. We're not doing that. Not for that because now I'm out $500 and now I'm out sun inside of a spot where I like to plant annuals or things that I grow from seed. You know what I mean? So we're going to remove that. We're going to remove these big rocks. We are going to move these lavenders to the back, move these alliums to the side, and we're just going to clean this area up. So here we are. I don't know if you can see all of the cute little seedlings that are all over the place because of these alliums. Like they're everywhere. They're going through the, what are they called? Lavenders, like everywhere. And sometimes, like, so look at this. That's a whole seedling. So, and they even like get that far. I don't know if you can see, there's like one over here. they get really far. So we're going to clean all of this up, including the hydrangeas. Look at that, a whole 2 seedlings. And I want to show you what I did. So believe me, these seedlings are not going to waste. Let me show you where I put them. Oh, by the way, the Nephophias are taking off. I'm going to buy another one. The one that was in the back garden, I am going to nurse back to health. It is trying to grow, but it's not it's not growing fast enough. So I'm going to get another one. I bought 2 more Cat's Pajama Nepeta. The oh so red, or really red petunias by Proven Winners are starting to bloom, and that looks really pretty. And I wanted to show you guys, I got 3. These were on sale. Ah, I'm so excited. Look, where's the tag? Sorry. Here it is. I got 3 of these. Pink Dawn Salvia. It's going to be gorgeous. I definitely going to place them exactly where you see them. They've been here for a few days, and I really like the placement of that. And I also, I don't know if you can see, I got some more of those sedums, and I'm going to plant more of them. I think I got 4 total, you can see, and where they are placed is where I'm going to plant them, and I think that'll look really pretty. And then I have one down here. I think that look nice. Okay, back to what I do with the allium seedlings. I've been pulling them out and literally planting them there, so they're not going to waste. Please do not fret. So the plan is, I have this mulch here because I know I'm going to make a little bit of mess and I'm going to need to remulch. The plan is put all the little seedlings in that little area, get all those alliums, and just start to fill in this whole space. I think that'll look really pretty. I thought about putting some back here, but as you can see there, I have that little sedum cutting that is, growing. And so I don't want to do that. I thought about moving that, and I still might, because I don't really like that rose. But we'll see how that rose does this year. It's cut so far back because it got ruined, or it had a lot of mold issues, and I just don't want to deal with that. I wanted to show you that I added some creeping Jenny. I love the creeping Jenny, and I added that container there that I told you guys about. And I am going to plant those plants that are in the pot there. I forgot what they're called. I hate walking in the garden, so I'm going to walk on the rocks. These were all on sale. These are the Acapulco coral leaf impatiens, and I thought they were so pretty. I got 3 of them. I'm going to put them in there with some more creeping Jenny, but everything is just pretty in this garden, and I love it. So that's what I'm going to do with the alliums. I think there's 5, and I know that I can probably cut them in half and make 100 more, but I'm not going to do that. And yeah, I thought about moving the evergreen forward a little bit so that I can back it with the alliums, but I'm not going to do that either because I don't want to. That poor evergreen has been moved a few times also, and I really don't want to put it through any more trouble. So I think I'm going to stop here with all of the alliums. I think. Now I'm thinking, do I push that forward and then put the alliums behind it? You guys, I'm going to end up moving this. Oy vey. That's my problem. All right, let's get started.
So this is precisely why I wanted to move the alliums. It is so tedious to have to move out all of these seedlings. Now, I also want them to be able to expand and just be as beautiful as they can be without the restrictions of having rocks. I'm going ahead and just moving the rocks around so that I can dig up these lavender.
I want to show you guys, because a lot of people say, you know, you'll lose all the nutrients in your soil, all of this stuff. But if you take care of it and you feed it with worm castings and use all kinds of amendments, even with this fabric, you can see I have so many worms in here. Like there's like one there. I've got one there. Not to mention, I don't know if you saw like this whole section here. Let me show you. Sorry if you don't like worms, but I'm showing worms. Oops, sorry. There are a ton, you see them? Of worms everywhere. So the soil is in great condition. Again, it is because I take great care of making sure that I cut back the fabric so that it doesn't girdle the roots. You see how like the roots are beautiful? I don't have that issue. Look at the worm in here. You see that? So I want you guys, you know, I understand like I don't recommend fabric, obviously, in every single kind of landscaping. That is completely up to you. In this particular application, yes, because you know it's rocks. So landscaping, you don't also have to have landscaping, you know, fabric under rocks if you don't want to. That's completely your choice. That's not what I'm saying. Either way, there are certain applications for it. I don't regret my choice. It was helpful to me, but I do want you guys to understand that my soil is still extremely enriched. And these have been here, I think this is now the 4th year that all these plants have been in here. So that's a really long time. And when I dig and you see a ton of worms throughout, I think that my soil is pretty healthy, even with this landscape fabric. Now, this is the DeWitt Pro, and basically the packaging says that it's not going to deplete the ground of nutrients. It's going to let the water flow through. It is really good landscape fabric. It's thick, but still moisture does get through. So don't be afraid if it's something that you want to use, you know, even though it's like taboo. All right, now let's continue to dig these out. I am going to clean up some of these rocks. You can see there's just a bunch of dirt, and I'm sure there's a ton of worm castings because there's a ton of worms. So I always throw that right back in here because, you know, to enrich the soil. But let's keep, oh, I want to show you, and I'm not even done. Look at all the little seedlings, the allium seedlings. And something else, I'm sorry if you can't really hear me that well. I took the mic off. I do that when I speed through so that I don't waste the battery. These are all allium seedlings too. Oh, the serendipity. So they are prolific. And you can just keep cutting them and splitting them and planting the seeds and all the stuff. So definitely a great buy plant in my opinion. And they're just beautiful, I think. So, all right, let's continue. Just wanted to, you know, share that because I know there's going to be people in the comments like fabric. Yes, I know fabric is not great, but it can be. Oh.
Alrighty, so I had to be very, very careful removing the lavenders. Hydrangeas have extremely shallow roots. They go less than 2 feet, maybe a little bit deeper, but they have, majority of the roots are extremely shallow. And so I wanted to make sure that I did not damage this standard hydrangea. This is a Firelight standard hydrangea. It is my favorite piece in the garden. I know that sounds really silly, but it was my first big purchase for the house when it comes to the garden. And so there's a special place like in my heart for this particular plant. So I had to be very careful. The configuration for the lavender, I wasn't too sure about, and I'm still not too sure about. I think eventually when they grow in, I might think it's beautiful. I think they're kind of too close, but it is what it is at this point. It's going to be the way it is. But anyway, so this is the labor of love. Moving rocks. The situation with rocks is that if you want to change your garden, you have to move the rocks around. The rocks are going to get dirty because things are going to settle. You're not going to get every single leaf or spinner that falls onto the rock. And so you're going to have to eventually clean out the rocks, unless it doesn't bother you. But it does bother me to see dirt on rocks. I don't know why. But it was, this was tedious. My back was hurting, my fingers were hurting, my hands were hurting. So, you know, be warned, if you are going to do rocks, make sure that you're not going to change your mind, and that's really hard as a gardener. But anyway, I'm pulling out the last allium here.
Guys, that was a lot of work, and I'm not even close to being completed, but I could probably have about 30 of these. And not to mention, look at all the tiny little seedlings. Look at all the tiny little seedlings. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, to be honest, but I'm gonna plant these in. I have so many. I don't know where else to put these in the garden. I might put some over there, but I just took a bunch of, I mean, these are the nicer ones, so I might go ahead and do that because I think that might look good, like a drift of it. But I have that entire container that you guys saw. So I'm probably gonna put those over there. I'm gonna try to fit all of these here. I really don't think that I can, but let's give it a shot. I have to buckle down and plant a ton of these, and I'm trying to see like if there's another spot that gets sun. I don't want them in the front of the border because they get kind of tall. So I may have to push that evergreen up, like I mentioned, so that I can do a swoop around the back of it. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do actually. All right, let's get started because this is going to be a minute.
A minute was an understatement. This took me 3 days. The rocks were just a lot to move. I had to trim boxwoods. This whole thing took a while. So you can see here that I did end up moving the evergreen forward. I am still not happy with the placement. I also removed that rose and quite frankly, I tossed it. It is a lemon drift rose. It is actually a very pretty rose, but it just always had issues with black spot and no matter how many times I sprayed it, it didn't help. So after I got done trimming the boxwoods, I felt comfortable with planting them in. I thought about planting them in and then trimming them, and then I thought, I'm cleaning these rocks and I don't want to do that in vain. So I got my soil sifter and I put some rocks in there, and then I started to just maneuver and measure where I was going to put these boxwoods. I'm not totally happy where they are. I know that sounds really crazy, but isn't that just how life goes? The placement is fine. I think once they grow in a little bit more, because the one I put closest to the hydrangea is kind of small, and I probably should have put the biggest one next to hydrangea, but I didn't. I just wanted to get it done, so like I didn't even think of it. And then I probably should have evened out because it's kind of in a slope, and so the biggest one is like kind of standing tall, and it bothers me. Whatever. So this was the tedious part. I put everything in a bucket and cleaned it, and it was a
All right,
lot.
guys, now that everything's been planted and the rocks are nice and clean and put back, I'm going to plant up this container. I've decided that I'm going to use this beautiful dahlia. I thought it would be really pretty. I thought about doing a yellow dahlia there, like Dahlia Rocco, but I kind of want that bright yellow to be in the back. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to put that dahlia over in the back. But this dahlia is called Genovia. Geneva, Genovia. But look at that. Isn't that absolutely stunning? And I thought that it would look good with the Supertunia Vista Paradise, which I did put in my window boxes. So I kind of want to tie it all in. Do you know what I mean? And then I got these on sale. Not this one. This one was on sale. But you can see it's pushing lots of new growth, and it is a Supertunia Vista, which means it's going to grow very vigorous. I also got this Sweet Caroline Sweetheart Lime vining plant, and I thought it'd be really pretty to put that in here. I put soil in there, some starter fertilizer also in there, and we're going to go ahead and mix mix it all up in here. Hopefully this dahlia does not get too big, but if it does, it'll be fine. Alrighty, I'm really happy with how this garden came out. I love the evergreens. I love that it's more like of a topiary garden, more like of a just formal look to me. And that's what I really liked about the idea of putting, oh my gosh, look at the roots on this guy. It's crazy. I'm going to break up the roots just a tiny bit. Ooh, got whacked. Ooh, I'm going to need more soil. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Then I'm gonna I'm gonna put this one because the sun is over here majority of the day, and so I want to make sure that this one grows nice and big and gets to bloom. I also sprayed it with BT. Any of the plants I got on sale, I sprayed with BT because I was concerned that maybe there was something wrong with it, which is why it has no blooms. But what I think happens at these big box stores is that they don't water enough, therefore the plants don't thrive. So, oh, you know what I forgot? The shaky fertilizer, which I should probably get, and I will in a second. I'm just going to back the dahlia a little bit more. Place her in the back of the container, just a tiny bit more. There we go. That's better. This plant is so dry. Like they all are. It's so sad. It makes me so sad. Okay. This one's not dry. This one I've had for a minute, so this one still looks pretty good. And of course, I'm just going to add a little more soil. Oh man, I'm like thinking of how beautiful this is going to be. The super tunia is just trailing over. This trailing over. Let me get some more soil. So I also brought with me the Proven Winners Premium Container Release Plant Food. I just put this in all of my containers. It's just a slow release. Tell me what you think about this. I try not to plant up a ton of containers with like spring blooms and all of that other stuff, only because I feel like, what am I going to do with the plants after they're done blooming? Or like, what am I going to do with the spring containers? Because a lot of the times, they still look amazing. You know what I think might look nice in here too? Let's get some creeping Jenny from the vegetable garden. I have this pile of creeping Jenny that I keep stealing from. Some of the creeping Jenny I bought new this year, but a lot of it I didn't. A lot of it came from the way back garden, or the vegetable garden, I like to say. Here's my pile of creeping Jenny. I normally get some from the back so that you can't really see it. And it really comes back vigorously. Like you don't have to be concerned of it at all. You just want to get some of it. Some of the stuff that's rooted. It also roots along its stem. So just chopping off a little bit like this will take root. But I'm going to grab, just want to see if there's any other pieces that are actually rooted in. This little piece has a nice root in it. There we go. this piece has a nice little root to it. Looks a little mangy, but you'll be surprised at how vigorous it grows. I'm also going to grab these little bits because they, like I said, will root via its stem. Alrighty, I'm just going to lay some of these in the dirt. The part that had some roots, I'm going to put right here in the front because that one will take off a little sooner and it'll trail, which will look really nice. Let's see, I'm just seeing if any of these have any roots that I can shove in the ground, shove in the dirt, should I say. This is still a work in progress. I'm happy with how the boxwoods trimmed up. They look really, really good. I'm glad that I am doing just like an evergreen garden back here. I think it's going to be cleaner, a little bit easier to maintain with rocks. And I'm really excited about that container and how it's going to grow this year. And I will definitely keep you guys posted on, you know, everything on all the garden tours. Oh, I'm happy I got to clean the rocks too. They were so filthy, like really, really dirty. But I think everything looks really good. I thought about getting two more, putting another boxwood there and another one there, but then, I want to just give it time for everything to kind of mature. You know what I mean? Like if I add more, it'll just be a lot more work. Those rocks are going to the vegetable garden for the aisle or the walkway, which I will be filming here shortly. But look at that. I think it looks gorgeous. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm actually really happy. And once those petunias and the creeping Jenny and the sweet potato vine just start to explode, you may not even see the container anymore. So I'm kind of excited about that. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, please like it. If you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you. Please subscribe. And I'm really, really happy. This is going to leave a lot less work for me. Just the constantly of like the picking up of the debris from the alliums and the alliums reseeding. It was it was a lot. It was a lot. And you can see um, I mean, I did it in days. I mean, it took a long time just to remove all the rocks, clean the rocks. Just everything took a long time. So I think this just, I don't know, I really love it. This is screaming like, just less maintenance. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you didn't get it done today, there is always tomorrow.